one thing that I see a lot of organizations when I go in to teach or consult, that they always go to risk as being a negative. And I'm sure when you're training people for a military experience where you want to be safe, but there's also that idea of a positive risk,
Mhm.
and that there's opportunities and risk and reward. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, yeah, we have a negative connotation around risk, but
Yeah.
obviously we keep that positive risk attitude. And it's something I think we naturally do, except when we start talking about risk. So I try to
Right.
when I try to work with people, I try to tell them, like, all right, what good can happen? Just try to get the negative connotation out of it. And then people are like, oh, we talk about this. And you're like, okay, that's a risk.
Exactly.
It's a risk in the right direction. And
Yeah.
so sometimes it's just wordsmithing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and same thing in the military when we're doing, our operations. We try to find what are the good things that we can make happen. And
Yeah. Exactly.
that's exactly what we did. And that's how we also overcame the negatives that can happen as well.
Yeah, I think that is so important. Something says how you wordsmith it, that it's
Yeah.
often not what you say, what you don't say, and it is how you say it, how you frame, what you're after. And it's easy, I think, in project management, especially folks that are maybe newer to project management, or their organization doesn't have a larger risk appetite, where they want to always be safe. They don't want to um, have that fear of loss of time or loss of money, that they lose opportunities, so they miss out on opportunities because we don't consider, like you said, what could happen, and having that balance of risk and reward. I'm not saying you want to go wild and take on every risk, but having that, looking at that risk tolerance and positive outcomes that could come about, and thinking, I like to frame things as opportunities, more
Mhm.
than a risk. So I think that's important, especially for people that may be new to project management, that they think that risk is only bad or only has a negative connotation.
Yeah, I think working with people outside of project management, that's probably the harder time you
Right.
take to
Right.
try to
I agree.
explain their whole risk attitude. Yeah, using
Yeah.
the term. I don't see. I think when I teach it, obviously, I talk about opportunities. I don't see
Mhm.
that outside of it, just because when I'm talking to, again, someone outside of project management, I'm like, opportunities. They're like, it doesn't quite get with them. So I'm like, what good could happen?
Oh, what
That's
good could
why.
happen? I like that. I'm gonna.
That's why I like to
Yeah.
say, because like when I say opportunities, it just I don't see the ball rolling as much in outside of project managers.
Yeah. Let's see that gerbil moving up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good point. I like that. What good could happen? I think that there's, risk has such a direct tie to money and
Hmm.
accountability, and that organizations have to be tend to be a very good steward of funds that are allotted. And so it's that give and take, and looking at, yes, probability and impact, but not just for the negative, but for a positive outcome.